Hi everyone, my name is Cynthia. Let's talk books. Today I am here to talk about a book that I received for free via NetGalley as an advanced reader's copy. But all of my opinions here are my own. This is not a sponsored video. All right, so let's get started with this is a romance novel, but really I feel like this is more of a family saga story. We begin the story with Sage Flores, who is a Latina woman in Texas that has access to magic. All of the women in her family get access to some sort of ability during their teenage years, and Sage Flores' ability is to be able to talk, to communicate with flowers and with the plant world. That aspect is so stinking cute. I loved that aspect of it. If you're into plants and gardening, anything like that, I feel like you're really gonna like those aspects in this book, because it's clear that Raquel Vasquez Gilliland has a love and appreciation for that kind of thing. I'm terrible. I have a black thumb. I kill plants. I actually have some plants I haven't killed yet, and I'm trying to grow a lime tree, and it's not going too poorly actually. So far so good. But I'm not somebody who is particularly good at these things, but I still have an appreciation for them. So there we go. Some of the aspects of this gift do come up. We see the gifts that the other women in her family have. We see, for example, her two sisters and her great aunt, and her grandmother. We hear a little bit about the mother as well, but that brings up some of the family trouble that are happening in this story. This is a family that has gone through some immense trauma when they were kids. Well, first of all, the three girls, the three sisters, all have different fathers, and the mother is gone. So none of them know who their father was, and mom left when they were really young and left them to the care of their great aunt. The great aunt has tried to do the best she can by these three girls. She took them on, gave them a home, and financially took care of them, but she was also always gone. And as a result, Sage kind of took on the role of mothering her two youngest sisters, and that has taken a significant toll on her and her relationship with her sisters. In addition, a few years after her mom left, her youngest sister died, and that was a huge trauma that the rest of the family has not been able to recover from. So Sage was able to kind of run away, and the first chance she got, she did. She left home. Now, when we get back to the story, she is back home at her great aunt's house, and having to deal with the trauma and the fractured relationships that are left there. So that aspects of family and the repairing of relationships, I thought was really interesting. Especially dealing with the trauma of the death of a family member, where everybody thinks they're responsible and everybody thinks that everyone else blames them for what happened, right? Like all of the women in this story blame themselves for the death of the youngest daughter, and of course no one is to blame here, but seeing them work through a lot of that trauma was really interesting. I wish that they had all gone to therapy, because I'm a huge proponent of some of these characters really needed therapy. And everybody can use some form of therapy, I think, or most people can, but some of these characters really needed professional help, and we don't see them getting that in the story. Still, we do see them working through some of that trauma. In addition, Sage has found herself back in touch with her teenage crush. She had a huge crush on Tennessee Reyes, and now her new boss has asked her to work closely with him on a plant project. And the issue was, there's so many issues actually here. Sage is one of those heroines that makes a lot of terrible decisions, like straight off the bat, just terrible decisions that cause a lot of drama now in her adult life. One of the bad decisions she made was to engage in an AOL messaging relationship with Tennessee Williams. So she had this huge crush, finds it on him on AIM, and they have this exchange over months through these messages. And then Tennessee 10 breaks Sage's heart. Except he doesn't know that he's broken her heart. He has no clue who this girl is that he's been messaging with. He just knows that he has this deep connection with this girl. And then they lose touch. They disappear from each other's lives. And now Sage is back in town, having to work closely with her teenage crush and having to deal with these teenage feelings of having your heart broken by your crush. The melodrama here is because Sage really is stuck in those teenage feelings. And that is frustrating to read at times because you're like, honey, someone broke your heart when they were a teenager and they don't even know they broke your heart, but you're holding them responsible for that? Like, what? What is happening here? But, okay, I understood that. I feel like within the context of who Sage is and her feelings, I feel like a lot of that makes total sense. Part of the issue is her trauma from when her sister died, and having to have been responsible for her two youngest sisters has stunted Sage, right? This is what in real life some of these issues how they appear. I feel like a lot of this is just almost too real, right? When you take on that role of parent when you're a child, it really prevents you from learning how to process a lot of emotions because you're not allowed to process, right? You're behaving as an adult, and part of what behaving as an adult when you're not an adult means just like not dealing with the emotions and the trauma that is happening. And that's what Sage had done. She just was unable to deal with a lot of her emotions. As a result, now as an adult, she I think doesn't know how to process a lot of those big emotions, and it's still stuck in those emotions of when she was a teenager. Fortunately for her, Tennessee is an incredibly kind, patient, loving man now, and I loved him. Like right away, he recognizes the chemistry that the two of them have, and he's not hiding any of his emotions. He's like, hey, I'm attracted to you, I like you, I want to spend time with you, like balls in your court. And he lets her take action, take agency over what their relationship is going to look like. He is incredibly patient, at times maybe even too patient. But towards the end, he also holds her accountable for some of her actions and inactions. I like that. I do think like she earned her forgiveness at the end. Sometimes I have trouble when I feel like a character that did something that was reprehensible is not held accountable enough, that they are forgiven a little too quickly in romance novels. I do feel like in this one she is held accountable and she matures in the process of the story. So this is a book that like I started reading. I had a hard time with the first chapter, but by the 10% mark I was invested in the story, and then I could not stop reading. It grabbed me. So if you don't like a lot of those, like the melodrama, teenage drama that these characters are dealing with as adults, this might not be the book for you. But I think if you're interested in family sagas with magical realism and a central love story, I think you might want to give this one a chance. It worked for me because it was so emotional. I think like as much as I really love intellectual books, as much as I read a lot of nonfiction and need that in my life, I also really need these kinds of books that are just so emotion driven. Like the characters all have big emotions, they're working through them, and the story takes you on a impactful emotional journey. And I think that's what this book did for me. It just took me on this journey, so I was compelled to keep reading. And not every book does that for me. So when they do it, like I cannot hide the effect it has on me and the immense pleasure it gives me, because I love when a book takes me on such a satisfying emotional journey. So if you're interested in that, I think you will like this book. But obviously, you are the judge of the things you can handle and not. This book also reminded me a lot of the Enchanted Hacienda. So actually, I'm feeling like I should do a video now on books with these themes, right? With the romance, the family, and the magic in it, because all of these same themes are also present in the Enchanted Hacienda and a couple of other books that I've been reading lately. And it's almost like, I don't know, like a rediscovery of some of that magical realism, especially by Latino writers who now live outside of Latin America, right? Like J.C. Cervantes lives in the U.S., Raquel Vasquez Gilliland lives in the U.S., and so I'm gonna do a little bit of research on other authors that are using some of these themes, and I feel like it's maybe a new kind of reemergence of this kind of magical realism, and I think there's an audience for it as well. We'll see. I don't know. I need to think a little bit more about this. So let me know what you think. What are other books with these same themes, right? Written by a Latina writer, with Latina made characters, with magical realism, family, and love themes. Because I think there's something there. I have like an inkling that there's something there. I just need to kind of do a little bit more research and think a little bit more about it. So I will take any and all input. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.